at Live Aqua Beach Resort in Punta Cana.
We had an amazing 4-night stay here with our friends over New Year's, and we can't wait to tell you everything you need to know before you book. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Max.
I'm Maren.
And we're Voyager Crew. We post weekly videos with travel tips, hotel reviews, and videos from some of our favorite destinations around the world. So if you don't already, consider subscribing. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. It helps our videos get more exposure and produce more videos just like this.
We did book this stay with a mix of points and cash on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and we'll tell you more about that at the end of the video.
Our first category is location.
Location, we rate 4.5 stars. Live Aqua is in the new kind of modern area of Punta Cana, a little bit to the north. It's about 40 minutes from the airport, and the hotel does offer a transfer service. The beachfront is beautiful, and it's in a little cove, so it feels like a very private area.
The beach has golden sand. It's a little different from some of the resorts here in Punta Cana that do have a really white sand beach, but it's beautiful with beautiful blue water. The bay is calm, and it's a great area for water sports and water activities. One thing to note, if you are coming here in summer, this location, like most of the Punta Cana area, is affected by sargassum seaweed, so you will find more of that, particularly on this side if you're staying at Uvero Beach or in this area. That's going to be an issue that you're going to encounter, like it is with most places in the summer in the Caribbean now. Our second category is lobby and check-in.
Lobby and check-in, we rate 3.5 stars. One advantage to this hotel is that they do offer a complimentary transfer. This is a huge advantage because it does take 40 minutes, as we mentioned, to get here from the airport.
We did drive, and they do have a self-parking area. However, they don't offer valet parking, which I was a little bit surprised about. They did help us with our bags when we got here, put them aside, and then we continued with the check-in.
The lobby itself is beautiful. When you pull up to the property, it's entirely closed off. The doors are huge, so when they do open the doors when you walk in, it is beautiful. The lobby is huge, 2 stories, and right now there's a cute little Christmas tree in there. The check-in experience itself was a little bit confusing. The front desk staff was very nice. However, there are a lot of people in the lobby that seem to be talking to you at the same time.
One of the things that made the lobby and check-in experience a little bit confusing was when we first came in, we were approached by the vacation club who didn't identify themselves. They just simply told us to sit down. We then felt like they were more of a vacation club, and we decided that we didn't want to do that. We were then told to stand up and go to the front desk, who then told us to go sit down, who then told us to go stand up. They then sent us outside to identify our bags, and then they sent us back in, and then they sent us back out. It was a very confusing process, and from having conversations with other guests, including our friends that stayed here, it seems like that's kind of the same experience for almost everyone, some better, some worse.
They do also offer a welcome beverage. We did not receive one. Other guests didn't. It was very inconsistent.
In general, that was one of the things that we found across property, and particularly in lobby and check-in, where there were a lot of inconsistencies in terms of what information they shared at check-in. That initial encounter with the vacation club team kind of throws off a little, but we'll talk a little bit more about the impacts of that in service.
After the confusing situation, we were checked in very quickly and taken to our room by the bellman.
Our third category is rooms.
Rooms were rated 4 stars. We booked a premium king pool view. The nice thing about this property is that a lot of hotels, you don't actually get to choose the side of the hotel that you're on, whether you're facing off the property or in towards the pools or the center of the property. Here you actually do choose. So you can either book a garden view, which is their most basic room. The upgrade to the interior facing rooms is a $50+ upgrade per night.
The rooms are spacious and have a lot of light. There's really big windows that go out on the patio. The patio is actually huge. There's a nice lounge area. There's a beautiful soaking tub, and we have a really large balcony with 2 seats. It's actually where we had breakfast. We had room service breakfast in the room. It's very convenient to be able to do that directly out on our patio. I also felt like the rooms were relatively private, particularly on the 2nd floor. Inside the room, you have a nice big beautiful bed, an open bathroom. The shower is a beautiful Coralina finish with accent lighting and molten brown products, which are some of our personal favorites. They have a really cool double vanity sink design and some cool floating mirrors that open up, and the bathroom is open into the other room, so you get lots of light that comes into the bathroom. If you're one of those people that doesn't like open bath concepts, it is probably worth noting that there's not a huge amount of privacy if you are looking for a more private bathroom, but because they do have that open concept, it does make the room feel a lot bigger.
There are some inconsistencies in the amenities within the room as well, between our room, our friend's room, and their previous room after they moved. There are molten brown products like shaving kits, toothbrushes, etc. However, our room did not have that, and we did have some off-brand soap, so we felt that was a little bit disappointing in terms of the room amenities available.
We did have a bottle of wine when we came into our room, as well as a fruit basket, but again, in terms of inconsistencies, when our friends checked into their room, they didn't have either a bottle of wine or that fruit basket. They then moved to a different room that did have a bottle of wine. It was very confusing, and it just kind of highlights some of the inconsistencies that we found across the property.
The minibar is complimentary and restocked daily. They do bring sparkling waters, sodas, there's a couple of food items as well, and you can always request more of those items or more water. Only the suites offer bottles of wine or other liquors as well.
There is ample closet space with a lot of hanging space and a lot of space for your luggage, which I thought was very nice. I did think that the room was a little bit dark. They do have some nice accent lighting though. They do also have USB ports that are located all across the room, including over by the table and by your bedside. There are also light switches that are directly next to your bed that do control most of the lights. It would be really nice if those master switches did control all of the lights in the room.
They also offer swim-up rooms here. The swim-up rooms are certainly not the most private rooms. If you're facing away from the property, you are on the cart path, and if you're facing into the property, you are kind of in the middle of the walkway. So it is worth thinking about if you are a more private person or looking for a bit more privacy. I would be looking at booking some of the rooms that are higher up.
While there is a lot of foliage in front of those rooms, they do seem to be very, very visible at night. And our recommendation is if you do book one of those with the open bathroom concept, it's probably a good idea to close your blinds.
There is also a club level on property. The club level is only accessible for the suite. So if you are booking a suite, you have access to a private check-in experience, a private section on the beach as well, and some other amenities.
One thing that is really nice in these rooms is we did find them very quiet. The glass on the outside door, it is double pane, and it was remarkable that even on a loud day where there was music playing outside, there were lots of people, when we shut the door, it was entirely quiet. Now, while there are a lot of quiet rooms, we do recommend that if you are going to choose your buildings, we recommend buildings 5 and up. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the best buildings on property. They're closest to the water, and all of the entertainment is actually closer to the lobby in the evening. And so if you are in buildings 1 or 2, you could end up having a lot of late night music. It's very close to where your rooms are, and we did hear several guests complain about that. Our fourth category, service.
Service we rate 3 stars. To be honest, at this resort, the service was disappointing at times and very inconsistent. A lot of the frontline staff were trying their hardest to please you and please everyone on property and make sure you had a good time. They just weren't properly trained.
While a lot of staff were certainly making an effort, it did seem that there was, in general, an inconsistency across property and a lack of general training.
It's also very clear to every guest that this hotel is operating for maximum efficiency for their operations and not for the guest experience. So the guest experience was deeply affected by the staff's rules and regulations around what you could order and when and what you needed to do and what they were allowed to do. It was all a little bit messy at times.
As an example, we found that during dining, they weren't very comfortable with us ordering in stages. If we wanted to order just some appetizers first and then kind of see where the meal took us, they told us that that basically wasn't something that we could do, and that if we did do that, we would end up behind other tables. And so even at the end of a meal, when we had ordered everything, we decided, hey, we wanted something else. They told us we were behind 5 tables and it could take up to 20 minutes to get what we actually wanted. And it just seemed like one of those weird service things that they had implemented for efficiencies, but just really made a poor guest experience.
It's also clear that management was not around to support the staff in training or the execution of services on property. When a guest has a service issue and you approach the front desk for the problem, you're basically told to fill out a report and someone will get back to you in 3 to 5 days. That is not a 5-star service experience, and it certainly makes for a poor service recovery experience when you're trying to get something fixed today.
The other part of service that wasn't particularly great, as we mentioned earlier, was the vacation club sales. They did approach us when we first came into the lobby, and we actually said, hey, we don't want to be part of any type of timeshare or anything like that. They told us that wasn't what they were trying to do, and they were just helping us check in, and that this hotel actually didn't have a vacation club at all, and that we were simply mistaken. However, we did find out later on that that was not the case at all. 5 or 6 of the couples that we talked to did actually engage completely all the way through the presentation stage of these vacation club and vacation ownership, very much like a timeshare program. And so it was a little bit upsetting that they were using fairly deceptive practices, frankly, to try and lure guests in by making you think that they were giving you a property tour, when in reality, they were actually just trying to lead you into this sales pitch. And what we found out that was even more upsetting from a service standpoint was that it was also simply just to get those staff members more points, which was how they were compensated for getting people to the meetings. There are a lot of hotels that have these type of programs and do these type of things, but in particular, I found the way they approached it at this hotel was particularly off-putting, and people we talked to were upset about the time that it took out of their vacation unknowingly going to some of these presentations.
If you are interested in a vacation club or timeshare experience, feel free to talk to these people. However, if somebody offers you a property tour, some VIP breakfast, or something else feels a little bit off, just feel free to say no. The experiences in the lobby and some of the guest service issues aside, the housekeeping here is great. They come twice daily, including a turn down service, which we felt was a really nice touch and definitely was closer to that 5-star experience that we were looking for.
We did encounter a lot of great service people, particularly down on the beach. They were really eager to please, and a couple of the activities people in particular I thought were really great. Although on the last 2 days of our trip, the hotel did get quite a bit busier, and it did appear that they were pretty understaffed for the amount of people they had. Our 5th category is dining.
Dining we rate 3 stars. The hotel has a lot of options and And in terms of the hours of operations and everything that they're doing, it's actually really nice. Their lunch runs from noon to 5 p.m. and then dinner runs from 6 onwards. Breakfast is both included in the in-room dining as well as at the buffet. And from that standpoint, it was really nice to have options. Our favorite restaurant was Miraflores on the beach for lunch. They had very fresh seafood and generally was a good experience. However, unfortunately, a lot of the other restaurants were simply not up to our expectations.
In general, the food was fairly inconsistent. From restaurant to restaurant, there were things that were good and not good. There were things that honestly bordered on inedible at certain places. And then there were things that you would have one day that were good and then the next day were not good. There were even issues with availability of things that they served one day but they didn't serve the other day. And again, when it came to the same type of practices for striving for efficiencies, there were very strange things like the inability to order simply just a plate of French fries, but having to order a burger with that French fries was the only way that they offered it. Our hypothesis is that part of that came from pre-making a lot of the food and having plates already prepared. We found that in particular at the sushi restaurant, which was by far our least favorite and the least consistent food. We talked to a number of guests that felt the same way, and that the sushi was pre-made and sitting out for a very long time. It did not taste good and it was really unfortunate. However, some people did enjoy the teppanyaki, some people did have slightly fresher rolls, and again, it just speaks to the inconsistency of the dining program across property.
If you do have allergies, it is really important that you tell them again, and tell them a third time. They will ask you a number of times if you have any allergies when you check in, when you sit down, and yet they will continue to bring out plates that includes those items that you're allergic to, so it's really important to verify if you actually do have a real allergy.
While Maren and I certainly enjoy a good cocktail, we did make some new friends on property who do not drink alcohol, and if you're like them and you enjoy a good mocktail, it is worth checking to make sure that that drink does not have alcohol. Because of the efficiencies and how quickly they make drinks here, there were some mix-ups that did happen, similar to the allergy situation. Again, pre-making drinks, pre-making food, striving for efficiencies really kind of hurt the guest experience here across both service and dining. Along those lines, if you are looking to have a good cocktail, make sure to specify what alcohol you'd like it made with. They will always default to the lowest value alcohol. And another thing to note is sometimes you might actually have to tell people to make a drink a little less strong. If you get to know some of the bartenders and they seem to like you, some of the bartenders tend to start to make the drinks stronger because they think that they're helping out. And while we appreciated the idea behind it and the sentiment, it made for a pretty bad cocktail. Our sixth category is facilities.
Facilities were rated 4 stars. This property does have a lot of the amenities that you're looking for in a beach vacation. They do have a spa, a really nice fitness center with modern equipment, a spinning room. They offer a lot of activities related to health and wellness like yoga classes, TRX classes, all complimentary on property. They also offer multiple pools, a beachfront pool, and a beach club. The Live Aqua Club level also has its own beach section as well for those club members.
One thing that they do not have on this property is any type of water sports. Unlike most all-inclusives in the area that offer free non-motorized water activities like paddleboarding or taking out a sail or a windsurf, they actually don't offer any of that here. They don't even have a water sports center. There is one at the neighboring hotel, but obviously you do have to pay for those activities. But they do have like banana boats and scuba and all those other things, but none of that's actually offered through this hotel. It's offered through another hotel next door.
There are a lot of places on property for guests to sit throughout the day. There are 4 different pools. There's the beach club. There's another pool club. If you're looking for something a bit more quiet, the pools outside of buildings 1 and 2 are going to be the most serene. They don't offer drink service at those pools because it is a bit farther from the bar, but it is a nice place to relax. You can also buy cabanas for $200 a day at both the beach and the pools. While there's plenty of seating within the property itself, populated areas like the swimming pool and the beach clubs severely lack beach chairs. We heard from a number of guests that if you don't show up by 8 a.m., you will not get a chair at the pool or at the beach.
We personally had the same experience on the first day. We absolutely could not find beach chairs. The hotel was very apologetic about it, and they did actually upgrade us to a cabana on the pool, and then every subsequent day they actually gave us access, even though we were not club members, to the club side so that we were able to sit there with our friends. It just goes to show, if you do have any bad service experiences, you should always say something, because sometimes the hotel is willing to actually go above and beyond to try and fix those issues.
We did not try the spa this time. They do have a hydrotherapy circuit, which is very common in the Caribbean, particularly in Mexico and the Dominican Republic. Their spa treatments were fairly reasonable, starting at about $150 per massage.
One thing that they did great on this property is they did have nightly entertainment, multiple shows a night, both outside and in their theater. One night there was a fire dancing show, which was really cool, and they had nightly bands and a lot of activities across property throughout the day, including things like aqua aerobics and volleyball and other activities out by the pool.
Overall, while we were missing the non-motorized water sports aspect of a Caribbean vacation, we really did enjoy the entertainment and the activities on property.
Our seventh and final category is style.
Style we rate 4.5 stars. We love that it's modern, it's clean, everything feels very fresh in general.
The design of the buildings has a low profile, lower than the palm trees, and the property is beautiful. It has a lot of very square, modern accents to it with beautiful foliage. In general, what we found across the property was as young as this property is, the foliage is really, really lush. They have lush canopies and lots of foliage as you walk through the pathways, and it makes the property really beautiful.
We love the somewhat beachy, boho chic furnishings that are still modern and clean. The lighting on property was beautiful. The only thing is it lacks a little bit of refinement in the style in terms of the finishings and some of the corners they cut around construction.
We were also surprised to see that although this hotel is less than a year old, there was a surprising amount of wear and tear in the rooms, as well as other areas throughout property.
Overall, we rate this property 3.8 stars. The actual property itself, like the foliage, the look and feel of the rooms, the size, the beautiful beachfront, all make this a really nice place to vacation. We just felt they fell short in terms of service, food and beverage, and some of the areas that really matter for a 5-star vacation.
If your expectations going into this are that it is a 5-star hotel, you are going to be disappointed. So it is important to set the right expectations and make sure that you're paying the best price for this particular hotel. The elements that they're lacking in service and dining are things that could improve over time. So I think with improvements in management and more focus on the guest experience, this hotel really could be great. And we hope that given how much competition that there is in the area, as they are a new property, they're going to take some of this feedback that they're seeing from TripAdvisor and from guest experiences and improve over time.
As we mentioned, we tell you how we booked this hotel. We booked using the Chase Sapphire Reserve Ultimate Rewards portal because we were able to supplement our stay with points and cash. At the time, the rates were quite high and we did have a nice points bank saved up.
If you watch some of our other content, you'll know that we're not sponsored by any premium credit cards, but we love using those premium credit cards to get the most out of those maximum benefits. If you want to learn more about any of the other credit cards that we do use, including Amex Platinum or Chase Sapphire Reserve, be sure to check out the link in the description below. We have a full blog post explaining some of the benefits that you can get out of these cards and why they're so great if you're going to be traveling.
So if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up.
And of course, if you don't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications as we have more videos coming out every week.
And be sure to check us out on Instagram at Voyager Guru and on TikTok at Voyager Guru.
Lastly, if you are booking a trip down here to the Dominican Republic, be sure to go check out our destination pages on our website at voyagerguru.com, including all of our hotel reviews, travel tips, and room guides.
And as always, I'm Marin.
And I'm Max.
And we're Voyager Guru. See you out there.